So I'm Gina McCarthy. I study with Chandra, and I also am a friend. And I'm honored to be here with all of you. I'm always grateful for the opportunity to meditate together. So, especially nowadays. So we'll meditate, and then I'll read the next chapter in the book you guys are following, and I have comments. It's on a favorite subject of mine, not that we need it, compassion. and then I have some practices and questions, so we'll go like that. I'll read the next chapter. And you guys can hear me. You guys are following. Thank you. Thank you for your beautiful smiles. So I'm going to set my phone alarm. And what I'm thinking, I'll do about 20 minutes of sitting and then about 5 minutes of loving kindness, metta, and it'll be easy to.
The universe is receiving your transmission.
Thank you, Sam. Thank God. Okay, thank you.
You have the door open, moderate your temperature. There's the control. So you got it. It's all air conditioning. I don't think you want that. Let's put it on heat and bring it up to about 72.
We're pretty good right now, however it is. Oh yeah, no, thank you for preventing that. Okay.
Start there.
Okay. Wonderful. I'm setting the alarm. Okay. All right. So I invite everyone to get comfortable, to settle into your position that supports you. If it supports you, let your spine be like a stack of golden coins, excuse me, on top of each other, and your chin, your neck, your chin just a little bit back, maybe your hands, your thighs, and start to come into your body. If you like, just starting to come down into your body. Start to notice your feet. And start to notice your connection, your feet and your seat with Mother Earth. If I ever talk too low, just let me know. And feeling her support and her wisdom and her compassion and her dedication to thriving life, and connecting with her under you and in you, and taking a moment to do that. And then beginning to notice your breath, letting yourself begin to have the nourishment of connecting more with your inner world of amazing, compassionate awareness in every part of you, in every part of us, in every part of everything. It's what we're made out of on a level, on the Nirmanakaya level. So just beginning to notice your breath that's coming in and out, and connect it to all of us and to everything. And taking a few moments to settle and notice your breath. And And so it's like the silt in a glass of water starting to settle down. The water gets clearer. Your mind is beginning to settle. You see it. And you can come back to the breath. That incredible place of nourishment and support in every moment for all of us. You might notice it in your belly, going in and out, your chest, your nose, your nostrils. And as you notice your breath, your subtle body is waking up. The energy is beginning to flow a little more easily. You're lighting up more. We are. Thoughts coming, and then knowing that these thoughts are just stemming from the different energy movements in your subtle body. And you can play with not getting lost in them, but experiencing this precious time of opening to more of all the levels of awareness that we are. And so just gently playing with letting go of the thoughts, coming back to the breath. You might notice emotions coming up. Just letting them be, letting the energy of the emotion be in your body. And see if you can let go of the story. This is your precious body. Every part of it is made out of compassionate awareness. And some parts get encumbered with the heaviness of different emotional states that naturally arise because of all the different interconnectedness experiences we have. And so this is a good time to practice, to play with just noticing the energy, noticing your body. Where does it get tight or not, heavy or light? And when you come back to the breath, you can also play now with intending compassion for anything that arises in you, anything. Still welcoming compassion towards yourself, towards these different streams that are moving through us, through you. And you can continue now just watching your breath, noticing it coming in and out, or you can begin to expand a little more into an awareness of the awareness we are in right now, a larger awareness that everything is made out of. And so either one is just fine, only watching the breath or beginning to also just open to experiencing the greater awareness we're part of, however you experience that. Stream of consciousness that's moving through us all the time. And so we're beginning to rest in it, not get hooked with every thought or every emotion, but just resting in the awareness that's in us and in everything. these streams emanate from and back to. Everything is welcome. Tiredness, restlessness, everything is welcome. invite you to take a moment before we shift into a loving kindness practice. And if you want, put your hands on your heart and take a moment to appreciate yourself for coming here tonight. I am touched and grateful for your presence here tonight. And I invite you to extend that appreciation and gratitude to yourself. Because not only is it helping all of us, it's honoring this vessel of compassionate awareness that you are. And now we'll do a short loving kindness meditation. So I'll say the words and you can just hold the intention of the words that I'm saying for yourself and for the people that I mention. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. So you're saying all of this for yourselves. May I live my life with ease. May everyone here in this room be happy. May everyone here in this room be healthy. May everyone here in this room be safe. May everyone here in this room live their lives with ease. May everyone here in this building be happy. May everyone here in this building be healthy. May everyone here in this building be safe. May everyone here in this building live their lives with ease. May everyone in the Bay Area be happy. May everyone in the Bay Area be healthy. May everyone in the Bay Area be safe. May everyone in the Bay Area live their lives with ease. May everyone in our nation be happy. May everyone in our nation be healthy. May everyone in our nation be safe. May everyone in our nation live their lives with ease. Completing with, may all living beings be happy. May all living beings be healthy. May all living beings be safe. May all living beings live their lives with ease. And beginning to come back, take your time. And as you're coming back to the room, to being here together for the commentary, excuse me for a moment, I'm going to blow my nose. I invite you to dedicate with me any merit from this practice for the benefit of all beings. Thank you. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so, excuse me. So I'm going to get the reading for the night. Is anybody new tonight to this group? Hi. So Chandra has been, she's in Esalen right now doing a retreat, taking a hot bath. And so anyway, so she's been reading this book on the path to enlightenment to the class in a different chapter every week. And so tonight's chapter is compassion. And so I'm going to read from the Dalai Lama about compassion, and then I'm going to comment, and then we'll do some questions and breakout, and some sharing, and then, and then some practice to support our experience of compassion. So before cultivating compassion. Before cultivating love and compassion, it's important to understand what these two terms refer to. So my iPad is doing something that I don't feel compassionate about. I got rid of it. Okay, so, all right, okay. In the Buddhist tradition, they are seen as two aspects of the same feeling of benevolence. Love is the desire that all beings may be happy, and compassion is the wish that they may be free from suffering. So that's interesting. That's how they see it. Then we must ask ourselves whether it is possible to cultivate love and compassion and to have less and less anger, hatred, and jealousy. My answer is yes, without hesitation. That sounds like the Dalai Lama. He's very upbeat. Although for now, you may not agree with me, I ask you to remain open to that possibility. Let's think about it together, and perhaps we will find some answers. All kinds of happiness and all suffering can be included in two categories, those of the mind and those of the body. Now I'm going to make a comment right now. Tibetan Buddhists really hold the word mind very differently than we do, and Chandra might have talked about this already. So for them, do you want me to talk? I can talk louder. For them, it means heart-mind. And so heart-mind is all our emotions, all our thoughts, all our sensations and feelings. It's all of it. Whereas for us, mind is very mental. It's kind of our thinking part. So as I read these words, I think it will be more nourishing for you to know he's really talking about the heart-mind. Otherwise, it sounds kind of difficult and so rigid. Okay, so all kinds of happiness and all suffering can be included in two categories, those of the mind and those of the body. For most of us, it is the mind, I might even say heart-mind, that plays the most decisive role in feelings of well-being and ill-being, which is true. In comparison, the role of our physical condition is secondary, excuse me, unless we are seriously ill or in abject poverty. However, the heart-mind can be affected by the most insignificant events, so it's appropriate to make more effort to pacify the heart-mind than to ensure one's physical comfort. Interesting. It's possible to transform your mind. Despite my limited experience, I am convinced with regular training it is quite possible to transform one's heart-mind in a positive way, cultivating thoughts, attitudes, and tendencies that are beneficial to oneself and others. What we call mind, heart-mind, is a very curious phenomena. Sometimes it is rigid and resistant to any change, but it can also become very flexible, provided we make constant efforts to transform it and become convinced by reflection that this change is not only possible but necessary. For that, it is not enough to make wishes or prayers. And we cannot expect this transformation to happen overnight because our old habits resist any kind of quick solution. So he's really giving us some compassion there to ourselves that this doesn't happen quickly. And I certainly have noticed that. Okay. How to cultivate compassion. Egocentrism, which affects us all in varying degrees, prevents us from feeling love and compassion towards others. But to be truly happy, one must have a mind at peace, and peace of mind will only come through altruistic love. Of course, to cultivate compassion, it is not enough to believe in its benefits or marvel at the beauty of such feelings. We have to make an effort and use all the circumstances of daily life to change our thoughts and behavior. One must also know precisely what those words really mean. Usually, love and compassion are mixed with desire and attachment. The love parents have for their children, for example, is biased and limited compared to the unconditional love that the Buddha is talking about. Similarly, the feeling of being in love is usually more a form of attachment based on mental projections and fantasies than true altruistic love. The best evidence for this is that once these projections change, the feeling disappears and sometimes turns into its opposite. Desire can be so strong that the one to whom we are attached appears to us to be free from defects, even if they really have a lot. And at the same time, we exaggerate their qualities. Such distortions of reality are signs that our love is motivated more by our personal needs rather than a real concern for others. It is possible to experience a love without partiality. It should not come from a simple emotional reaction. It should be based on reflection and lead to a firm commitment. Then it will no longer depend on how others treat us. The goal of the Buddhist practitioner is to cultivate this kind of love, sincerely wishing happiness to all beings in the universe. This is obviously not easy. I'll read a little more. Let us reason like this. Whether others are beautiful or ugly, benevolent or cruel, they are all sentient beings like us. And like us, they want to be happy and not suffer, which is their right, just like us. Recognizing that all beings are equal in their aspirations and their right to happiness, we feel a sense of empathy that brings us closer to them. As we get accustomed to this impartial altruism, we finally experience a sense of universal responsibility. With time and patience, we can come to experience such universal love. And I want to read one last part of what he says. Before wanting to take care of others, one must first be able to love oneself. Loving oneself is not based on a sense of personal debt for which one is accountable to oneself, but simply on the fact that by nature we all strive to be happy and not suffer. It is only after accepting this benevolence towards oneself that it is possible to extend it to all others. Okay. So, yeah. So I have really been thinking about this since Chandra invited me to teach this class. And I've been studying Tibetan Buddhism for over 25 years, and I've often felt a lot of compassion, moments of interconnectedness and compassion. But when I read this, which is something I've heard before, but I really hadn't heard in a long time, all of us want to be happy. Everybody in this room wants to be happy. Everybody in this room doesn't want to suffer. It was like a revelation. It was like ding dong, like, oh, the grocery store, the gas station, the neighbors, the people I see on the street, everybody. And it's so much easier. Well, it's so much easier to feel those blissful feelings of our interconnectedness and compassion for all beings than it is to really feel compassion for each person you meet. And I also happen to be a trauma healing therapist, and even though I specialize in perinatal psychology and ceremony, I also treat broad range trauma. And that's, of course, I learned it because I had a lot of trauma and I needed to learn how to heal myself. And so it's my firm belief, similar to what I think the Dalai Lama was saying, that we do need to bring compassion to ourselves before we can be compassionate to others. It's not that we have to love ourselves, like, okay, you've passed all 10 points, now you love yourself, now you're good to go. But in the moment, because when you are walking around and you're sad or you're angry or you're scared, it's really, especially if you're scared or angry, it's really, you just can't physiologically open your heart to someone else. Like you might want to, but your body is not there. And then when you do some kind of resource, some kind of compassionate practice for yourself, and it depends what each of us need, we're all different, then your heart can begin to soften. And you can really begin to feel compassion for others. So I'm going to talk a little more about that. And also, in these old writings of the Tibetan Buddhists, even the Dalai Lama, they are not so caught up with current neurobiology, whatever, trauma theory. And so they're not using necessarily the words that sometimes they use words that can sound moralistic, like, good and bad and so on. But when we act out, that's coming from our trauma imprints. And so when we're triggered, so when we are compassionate to ourselves, when we're triggered, then we have that capacity to come back into our bodies and be kind to others. Okay, so now, before we get into some more practices, I'm going to do some questions. And I'll tell you what the questions are, but before we break out, I'm going to give you a chance to get a little deeper with the questions. The questions are, how do you feel in your body when you feel compassionate? And then the second question is, what supports you to feel compassionate? What supports that feeling to arise? So before we break up, and we could take 5 minutes each and talk about this with each other, take a moment, go inside if you like, and just notice maybe a time where you recently felt compassion for someone. Of course, now with everything happening in our world, it might not be too hard to remember a time where you heard something on the news and you might have had a lot of emotions, but you also might have had compassion for some of the people you were hearing things about. And so as you start to notice this moment of when you had compassion, see if you can notice more what you felt in your body when you felt that compassion. I'm going to take a moment to notice that also. Okay. So So now we'll start to come into our twosomes. And let's try it. So you guys are a natural 2, and you guys are a natural 2. Though if you came together, you can mix it up. That's always good. Actually, let's see, everybody get into 2s. And I'll give you 5 minutes to start once you're all organized. And then I'll tell you when it's another 5 minutes. And listen to each other with compassion, with kindness. Okay. So there you go. That's good. This is a good sign. Things are happening. And the 2 in the back, if you don't mind connecting. Great. Okay, so the first question is, what do you notice you feel in your body when you feel compassionate? And the second question is, what supports you to feel the emotion of compassion? Okay, so the first person has 5 minutes. So I want to encourage you all to remember the kind listening and the not giving each other feedback unless the other person wants. Okay, take it away. And if you run out of things to say, sorry, you can also share with each other challenges you have being compassionate. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's time to switch. So switch as gently as possible. The questions are, um, how do you experience compassion in your body? And then, what are you aware of that supports you to feel compassionate? And then, if you if you want more, then what is a challenge for you with compassion? Good. Okay. Thank you. one more minute. Yeah. Excellent. You guys are to the point. Okay, my dears, we're rounding up. Thank you. Okay, so I would love to hear a little of what supports you or what feels challenging with compassion. Please volunteer to be a brave soul as soon as possible. Yes. Thank you. Great. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah. That's a great question. I know. Thank you. That, yes. Wow, that's a kick-ass question. All right. Woo. So, I don't know exactly all of your meditation backgrounds, so because it's somewhat, bless you, related to how I would answer, but let's see. Yeah, so like if we're talking hardcore Buddhism, which we are, it's pretty wonderful. So there's kind of the thought, there's absolute reality and there's relative reality. So relative reality is your hand gets some boiling water on it, and I see that, and I go, oh, right, and I feel compassion for you. I feel empathy, and maybe compassion. I mean, I don't know if I have an answer to that. The absolute reality is there's no you, there's no me, there's no water. It's all one kind of dance. And so when I feel compassion for you, which I do, it, but you're not separate. There's no separateness. So I'll talk a little bit more about that. So like I say, and I'm sure all of you might have experienced this, when you're either in a deep meditation practice or you've done it for a long time, so you experience it sometimes for moments during the day, you can open to that interconnectedness, awareness, and then there's a very genuine compassion for all beings. You're not trying to be compassionate, it just arises because there's that experience of oneness, non-duality. So there's that. That takes a lot of practice to cultivate it. I have a lot more to go. And I don't have that long in this lifetime. I'm 74. But anyway, okay. And then let me just take another moment with your question about the difference between empathy and compassion. Yeah, I think there is a difference. I really appreciate that question. So empathy, I think, is more, I've been in your shoes. I see how it feels, and I care about you. I get that. But compassion, I feel, has more boundaries. It's kind of like, I know that hurts you, and I care for you. I wish you don't have that suffering. I'm sorry you have that suffering. Yeah, thanks. My dear.
What I was saying when we were talking was that it's funny. I think the less I know about a person actually supports my
Yeah.
compassion
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Because it's when my mind gets going on
Yeah.
like, are they worthy, and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And so like I just talked about, I've worked a lot with the public, and I generally just give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, I've worked with a lot of people who are like angry or whatever, and it's just like, well, I have no idea what they're experiencing. That really could be the only way they can present themselves
Beautiful.
right now.
Yeah.
And so that's the way my compassion works, is that like it's easier and supportive when I don't know a lot about the person, to guess or judge.
Thank you. That brings up two such good points. Like, one, it's easier often to feel compassion if you're in a role where you don't really need anything from the other person. You're there to help them. And also, you don't know them that well. Where it's harder to have compassion, and this is what I've been really noticing since I signed on to teach you all this talk tonight, is in the moments where you do know a lot, or even if you don't know a lot, you have a personal need. I'm noticing it to the degree that when I drove over here tonight, here's all these cars coming. I'm trying to make a left turn, and I love to drive fast. I love to whatever. And so, as soon as there's an opening, I scooted, And then I literally thought, well, that wasn't very compassionate, because, that could have been upsetting to the guy behind me. And, you start to notice a lot more. It's not the best example of that. A better example, and this gets into what helps us, is this morning, like I say, if it's on your mind, you notice it. My husband is disabled and he moves extremely slow. And you already know I like to go fast. So and it was a busy morning. There was a lot to coordinate. And so I was more patient than usual. We know ourselves, like, yeah, this is going good. And then, boom, I just kind of said kind of a too much of a pushy kind of thing. And he, which he rarely does, kind of snapped back. Now, I want to go back to you all, but I'm going to just finish the point. So one of the things that helps me, I did immediately. And what I've really learned, and I'm so grateful for, is if that happens, or if I'm lucky enough to catch myself making that pushy comment, which I wasn't this morning, but if I am, the first thing I usually do is go back and down, back into my body and down, ground. Because anger energy and pushy, controlling energy, all my favorite, are, they jump up and out, so back and down. And that, right away we were good again, because the energy had shifted. Okay, I want to hear from others. Anybody else? Yeah.
So like for me, empathy is extremely important. But there's a kind of, and this is not a bad thing, but like a deep identification with the other person's suffering, whereas compassion is sort of like, your pain can't knock me over, it's just gonna go right through me.
Nice.
I'm not taking on, because for me to help you, you really have to see that your suffering is empty and it's so impermanent.
Yeah. Nice. Beautiful. Yeah. he said that for him to be compassionate versus sympathetic, he said with the person who's suffering, well, you said we both need, but either way, he sees it as empty and impermanent, so he doesn't get hooked.
What is empty and impermanent?
That's good.
What
They're suffering. Thank you.
the
Yeah.
suffering is empty and
Yeah.
impermanent.
I thought you were just going for it. Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I don't understand.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Okay. Well, it's a deep one. It's a big one. Everything is form and emptiness at the same time, and beyond. So I'm not doing an excellent description of that. I'm kind of giving you the flavor of it. And so what I'm hearing, what's your name?
Paul.
Paul. What I'm hearing Paul say is, when I witness your suffering, I know this is impermanent. I know this is the empty part. I think it's better maybe we get your flavor. How do you hold it? I don't want to try to interpret. How do you hold that, what you said?
Well, it's almost like you can feel a certain stillness. And when you have that stillness, you can really sense that the other person could also have that stillness. And then they would feel that no matter what happens, it would flow through them too.
Yeah. So I think probably there's, what do you want to say, levels of that, because I think it's hard to get to that place. I think it takes a lot of practice to get there, but many of you might have had moments or more than moments of that. And I think that's very beautiful. And then something else you said that I think is interesting is both of you would have to be in that same place. And of course, if you open up into the field of that, it helps the other person enter that, and they might not. But it always helps when we open up into a field of compassion where we're in touch with the whole interconnectedness of compassionate awareness that we actually originate out of, we actually emerge out of. And the idea is that when we get into anger or something like that, that's an encumbered state of that compassionate awareness that we're actually made out of. So when we're able to let go of that anger, which I want to talk about in a minute, then we come back to that experience of that open, compassionate heart. So I'll try to get more examples in a
Well, I
moment.
was just saying, for me, it's
Yeah.
quite different.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. There we go.
Someone, if I'm feeling compassionate for a person, and I actually can feel compassion for people the better I know them.
Yes.
And I really understand them. I don't think about, well, this is impermanent. I think that there is suffering going on.
Yes.
And yes, it's impermanent, but that doesn't really do much for the situation, I guess.
That's how you feel. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, a lot about compassion is, saying this, what does my compassion accomplish? Is it actually going to do something? I mean, you can feel compassionate for people, which, doesn't help them at all. I like to think that my compassion would be, me able to help them with their suffering.
Do you feel that?
That's the way I feel, yeah.
Good. I feel that too, that your compassion helps people's suffering.
But that's, you could say that's one of the qualifying things about compassion. It's like, if I think that my compassion isn't going to do anything, like the people of Gaza.
Uh-huh.
I feel great compassion.
Yes.
It doesn't
So I disagree. Yeah. So, and I appreciate what you're sharing. So I'll just give you another thought to consider. So I think a few things. Compassion is not feeding the people in Gaza, and it's not preventing them from being killed. And compassion for them is lightening, I believe this, their heart pain. And also, it's bringing in the stability and energy that we need more of in our world right now. So every moment that you do that, I appreciate it because I feel like you're helping build what we need in our world. Okay, now I do want to teach you guys at least one other practice before we go. And I also want to ask if there's anybody else who wants to do a quick share. I'd love to hear it. Okay, anybody else? All right. Okay. Okay. All right. So one of the things that helps me the most to return to compassion is to resource myself when I'm triggered. And I have a very simple practice. I think a couple of you have learned it because I've taught it before when you were here. And I'm going to teach it to you now, and we'll see how it goes for you. So this is a good, useful practice to do when you feel encumbered. And let's see how it is for you. All right. So you can take a moment, I'll give you the instructions, and get in touch with something that feels slightly uncomfortable, maybe either right now or today, something that felt emotionally evocative, not a number 10, more like a 5. Oh, that's me. I apologize. So that was a 5. Okay. Okay. So, so a moment to remember or not. So, and then the resource, it can be, let's do it as a support energy. So the resource is going to be something that feels very supportive to you. It can be a person, it can be an ancestor, it can be a tree, it can be a pet, an animal, really anything that really feels supportive to you. It's a supportive energy. It certainly can be a spiritual being. All right. So the first thing is you pick what you're going to use that you feel respected by, they see your power, and at the same time, you feel comfortable receiving their support. And it can even be the supportive aspect of yourself. So take a moment and choose what you're going to use. And then, once you've got that, you're going to be tapping your legs with your hands. You can watch me for a moment, back and forth. And you do it for a short, and wait a sec. And you do it for a short time, like 10 or 12 times. You don't have to get anal about counting, but you do it for a short time because if you do it longer, you can start to process. And if you are processing, you're not resourcing your nervous system. You're not regulating. You're processing. Okay. And the only other thing is you're not doing it to change how you feel. You're just doing it to connect with how you feel. Okay, so we'll try it. So just get in touch with your support resource for how you feel right now. And then tap it in. And then notice how your body feels and come back to the room. Okay, so what do people notice in their bodies? Yeah, thank you.
It's very cool. Like I started out by just feeling intensity high in my chest and way faster than lots of other things. I felt like a groundedness and fullness in my existence, in the center of my chest.
Wonderful. It's generally for most people like that, really effective. But not everybody, which is fine. Thank you. Anybody else? And also, it might not have worked, or it might have felt difficult. Any questions about it?
I'm not sure I did it right.
What did you do?
Well, I thought about my support resource, and then I started tapping on my legs.
Yeah, and did you feel, excuse me, your support resource being with you the way you are right now?
Okay,
No, not at all, but that's what I encourage you to try, and you can try it in your own time. It'll probably work for you. And it's fine to reach out to me if you have questions. Yeah. So that's one of the things I use the most often, and with my clients, to bring myself back into my body and to soften my heart. Anna, were you going to? No. Okay. All right. And the other practice I use a lot that I recommend, it's The Wakeful Body by Lama Willa Blythe Baker. And she has this beautiful practice in there. I think we're just on the edge of having enough time, but the idea is you start to bring your own compassion, your breath, your compassionate breath, to the energy of the emotion in your body without the story. And she says something in here that's so beautiful. She says, now reassure your feeling. So now this could be a feeling where you're really pissed with someone, for example. I know in the past I have mistrusted you. I have labeled you and diagnosed you. Now I promise the time for that has passed. I will not try to control you. I will not try to fix you, avoid you, suppress you, analyze you, escape you, or indulge you. I will not try to meditate you away. You are welcome here, just as you are. Please remain and practice with me. Sit and breathe with your feeling. Listen, befriend. So that's a beautiful practice I do often, and that also supports you to come down into your body and allow the energy to be there, the energy that, again, we're made out of, that compassionate awareness. And then you don't have to control it. You just can let it be there, and then on its own, you get the information you need. Yeah. Okay. So we actually have 10 more minutes, and I could have done the practice. Yeah. So, we can, there's another practice that I wanted to do with you tonight that's a really good one. I think we'll end with that. It's a loving kindness practice, but it's really working out your compassion muscles. So I'll give you like the marathon, the last. What we're going to do, we're going to get in touch with someone we love, that's easy to love, and then we're going to get in touch with someone we don't like. And then we're going to get in touch with someone we have neutral feelings about. And we're going to send loving kindness to all of them. That's a good one. And it cultivates this idea that all of us want to be happy. All of us don't want to suffer. Okay. So take a moment and get in a position that supports you again. And begin to notice a person in your life who you have very easily love and compassion and kindness for. And let this person, you can imagine them in front of you. And now you can wish them, may you be happy. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live your life with ease. And now take a moment and find a person you really don't like. You find them very, it's uncomfortable for you to really relate with them. Take a moment to find someone like that in your life. And now, wish them the same. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live your life with ease. May you be safe. And now switch to a person you feel very neutral towards. You're really not that interested to talk with them, but you don't feel negatively. You don't feel that positive. You just feel kind of neutral. And put them in front of your mind's eye. And wishing them, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you live your life with ease. And now let's complete the evening with one last one towards yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I live my life with ease. Thank you all. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you. Yeah. Good to see some of the old faces. Manny, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you mind telling me what astrological sign you are? I'll tell you why I'm asking.
Take a wild guess.
Cancer.
How'd you know?
My son is a Cancer, and you remind me of him.
That's me.
I love my son very much.
When's your birthday?
His birthday is the 24th.
What about yours?
Oh, mine, March 20th.
Pisces.
Yeah. Hi. Oh, You'll love it.
I do have a question. You said
Yeah.
in the beginning,
My mom's a
description.
priest.
What'd you say?
My mom's a priest.
Perfect. Okay.
You had a description of love by the Dalai Lama at the beginning.
Yeah.
What was the or what was the?
I'm sorry, sweet. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was expecting coding.
Oh, let me turn this off. 1 second. Sorry. Oh, I guess. Oh, yeah. No, it's on.
There's a definition of love and definition of compassion. That
Right.
His Holiness gave at the very beginning that you were reading.
Yes.
What is the definition of love that it gave?
So it's really interesting. Way of understanding the love one was you want all beings to be happy, and the compassion one was you don't want all beings to suffer, you don't want them to suffer. It's interesting.
I thought so. I hadn't heard of that description before in that.
Neither had I. Yeah.
Someone asked me the other day, we were talking in the context of spirituality and like what is love,
Yeah.
and you want all beings to be happy. Didn't come up in like very different definitions explicitly.
Yeah. 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 I'm really grateful for the opportunity to reflect on it. I didn't say, but I feel like now it's kind of like it's like my teacher. You know, like because I wish I'd said this because every moment, you know, am I being compassionate? And if not, what what do I need to bring compassion to myself so I can be? Yeah.
There's only, I think, compassion can be present within you or you, and it also be fully present for someone else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it is fully present for someone else and not present for you, then it's not full. It's probably like, I think, partial compassion is not within you for you.
Yeah, and even that one, I think we have to be gentle with ourselves. But yeah, what's your name?
My name's Farashta.
Harushka?
Farashta.
Farashta. Is that an Eastern European?
No, they have it in Farsi, in Urdu.
Oh,
It's like
great.
Central Asian, Afghan.
I see. Oh, are you Afghan?
I am, yeah.
Oh, do you know Dr. Khalil Rahmani? No.
I don't. My parents probably do.
Yeah. With the mask, I couldn't have told. I was.
If you want it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wasn't around
I
this
see that
person.
you're Afghan.
Yeah.